Time+Tide, the Australian Watch Authority, since 2014.
In a world where secrets are practically impossible to keep, Rolex have once again pulled it off. A new range at Baselworld that has neatly sidestepped predictions and stayed a secret, right up until midday today when it was released. Let's start with the main talking point and the blindsider. The GMT-Master II with two-colour red and blue Cerachrom bezel on Jubilee bracelet, or as it's more commonly known, the Pepsi. There were hopes and expectations that a two-colour red and black bezel Coke might appear this year, but instead, Rolex have offered a second Pepsi, following on from the white gold version offered in 2014, which will now only be offered in a blue dial. This watch is in oyster steel, a new Rolex term for what was once referred to as 904L steel. Nothing changes about the alloy, it's just a new name that refers to what the brand calls the secret Rolex recipe for their 904L steel. What are the differences and upgrades on this model? Firstly, the engine that's driving it. It's now a new 3285 movement featuring 31 joules and a whopping 70 hours of power reserve, which absolutely smashes the 48 hours of its predecessor. And then there's the next generation Jubilee bracelet, now with an oyster lock clasp, adjustable to 5 mils for extra comfort. The totally new additions to the family, however, are the Everose GMT-Master IIs. One in solid Everose gold and the other in roller saw, Rolex's term for two-tone. These are the first ever Everose GMTs, and don't you know it looking at them. The warm tones of this watch continue to the rose gold coloured text on the dial and the gilt rose gold edging of the lume plots. There are other tiny details that are different in all three new GMT-Master II models, such as, and take notes now, the slightly longer minute and hour hand and what Rolex refer to as the redesigned lugs and case sides. This in fact refers to a new manufacturing process which gives the case sides extra shine and sharpens the lugs. The brand believes the difference is evident when you compare these new models with previous. Moving on to the deep sea Sea-Dweller. We have a host of minor differences, such as a new bezel, first seen on the 2017 Sea-Dweller, including a recessed luminous pip at 12, an upgraded 3235 movement, and a longer minute and second hand. The really significant change, which totally transforms both the presence of the DSSD and the way it sits on the wrist, is the 10% increase in the width of the bracelet from 20 to 22 mil. This better manages the height and weight of the case and makes it sit far more snugly on the wrist. It's quite transformative if you've ever had issues with the size, weight and height of the previous DSSD, like I have. Lastly, the watch that will have a waiting list to die for, probably quite literally, haha, is the new Cosmo Graf Daytona with 36 baguette cut sapphires in rainbow hues around the dial and 56 brilliant cut diamonds in the case. Brilliant is certainly the word here. The graduated baguette cut sapphires are indistinguishable as they move in a fluid color transition. The chronograph subdials are in pink gold crystals, a material which creates a shimmering effect, which the brand says happens during the crystallization of a pink gold alloy by means of a special process. How secretive. I'm usually not the bling type, but this watch is spectacular, and I encourage you to try it on if you've never considered yourself the type to call for hotline bling.